Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Guys on Sports. We're just under a week away from the 2025 NFL Draft. And in lieu of that, we're going to kind of project some of our favorite rookies, namely Mark and Rocky here, are going to project some of our favorite rookies and talk about some dream landing spots and some comparable guys that you might have heard of in the past and how they can project in the same way. Before we get into that, I mean, draft week, it's kind of crept up on us. You guys pumped for your team where they're picking? Are you guys in the throes of all the rumors right now, or are you kind of playing it cool?
I'm absolutely loving it because I think we already have in Chicago a great framework for a successful franchise going forward.
That's what they say.
With Caleb Williams as our leader, and we got the 10th pick, and we got a couple of second-round picks as well. I'm loving it. I can't wait. I'm hearing a lot of stuff. I'm hoping that I don't want to stretch and go running back so early. I'm actually kind of hoping we take a page out of Belichick's book, trade down and accumulate a couple more picks, maybe in later first or some more seconds, and really kind of stockpile our needs. I'm excited.
Bill Belichick, notoriously terrible GM. So
yeah,
good
for you. Down though.
He does trade down.
Trade down.
Drafted Tom Brady one time and the bastard.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the draft.
Yeah.
The Browns haven't had a first round pick in 3 years. So
look at that,
which is crazy for how terrible they are. You think?
Well,
imagine if they just
didn't have
kept
it because they traded.
They just kept Watson. Baker Mayfield. They would have him in all their picks.
Yeah, they probably have one more playoff win. Maybe,
which is a lot in the Browns.
They'd have two more playoff appearances, though.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Listen.
All right, go ahead. Dude, you're excited.
Yeah.
That's the point.
I'm excited, and no matter what quarterback they draft, it will be the wrong one.
That's correct.
So that,
don't draft one.
Yeah, well, here's my strategy. Draft 3. Just shotgun, machine gun the approach, and then hope you don't trade the wrong one, because that's also possible.
So you want them to draft 3 quarterbacks?
We have enough picks to where I know you think I'm being silly. I'm not. I would draft 3
I would too.
QBs.
I would too.
Yeah.
Then you trade Garrett for Cousins, right?
No.
You could possibly be the first team in NFL history to carry like 7 or 8 quarterbacks on your roster.
Why the hell not?
Whatever it takes.
Final 53, baby.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited too. The Giants have the 3rd pick. I'm not paying attention. There's so much smoke screens. I'm really not going to be locked into Thursday night. And speaking of Thursday night, join us on TikTok. We will be reporting, commentating live for an NFL. That's going to be a good time, guys.
That's going to be
good. Come with the guys. Get on TikTok. We'll have video of the draft, but you can watch it on your TV. But you'll have our commentating.
Which is really what you're coming.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna give our thoughts. We're gonna give fantasy.
It's gonna be colorful
projections and impacts as live. You don't have to wait for the show next week. So join us.
Are we inviting Zach Zaddy to come back? And
why are you doing this on air?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying,
weird.
right?
That is weird.
There's only 2 questions. Are we inviting Zaddy, and should I?
And is he
meatballs?
straight? Oh.
No on the meatballs. I'm good on the meatballs.
I don't think you are. You look like a
no, I don't. I do look like a meatball.
Towards you.
Yeah, but I would be a good tasting meatball.
Yeah.
As opposed to a tough, dense
Could you be
brick
like
of a meatball.
Pork and beef mix.
Oh, that's the way you got to do it. You know, how else do you make a meatball?
Those meatballs look like there should have been more to them. That's how big they were. It looked like you took the fist of the meatball and chopped it off. That meatball looked like it should have also had an arm. That's how big those things were.
If it had an arm,
like a meatball,
you would
man,
have shoved it in a roll and eaten that because you ate about 5.
They were the largest meatballs I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, join us. We will have some food, some drinks. We'll be enjoying the draft. Enjoy it with us. It'll be a real dudes / maybe I wish we had girls' night. At the draft. But with no further ado, what we're going to do, each of the guys is going to give you their top 5 prospects and where they would love to see them playing next season for fantasy purposes. And I think we're going to tier it down. So we're going to start with your 5th. We're going to count down to 1, and hopefully along the way you guys give some comparables so the people out there have something to grab onto, to latch on. Like which one of these guys reminds you of Todd Gurley? I don't know. Is there a guy? Maybe there is. Maybe there's not.
There might be a guy.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Before we really get into it, when it comes to rookies, and I want you guys to kind of give it. This is like curveball for you guys. But me, when I'm drafting rookies, redraft, it's got to be a really special guy, obviously. But Dynasty, I find that I don't love it. And this is in total opposition to Rocky. Because I think there's when there's the guys that have a role, like a Jahmyr Gibbs, there's someone he's locked in. I love it. That's when I go get a guy I care about it. But when I have picks and there's Ben Sinnott that I sold myself on, it might pay off. But there's so much projection involved. Yeah. There's these guys that are doing this 24/7 and they can't get it right. And they're in the room with the guys. It really just feels like a crapshoot. What I'm saying is if you're not sold on a guy 100% in your rookie drafts in Dynasty, trade him for an established player. That's that's my motto.
So even more credence to my draft 4 QBs or 3 QB machine gun approach for the Cleveland Browns.
If you want to go that way, or just trade for an established Kirk Cousins.
He was in a Chipotle in Cleveland.
Wow, I imagine he's been in quite a few Chipotles
in Cleveland,
in different cities.
That's true.
All right, so if nobody wants to ring in on the rookies,
Chipotle.
I'll pass it to you. Who is your 5th fantasy wet dream player?
So this is how...
That's going on the graphic, by the way.
This is how I approached tonight's podcast. It's the 5 guys that I'm most excited about. And in my mind, it was with dynasty rookie drafts in mind.
Okay.
Right? So how I approached it is these are 5 guys that... Here's their dream scenario where I want them to land.
Yeah.
So the lowest...
So this is not where you think their best landing spot. This is where you want them to land.
Yes, they're absolute dream scenario for me.
Because I feel like this could be like you're setting some up for failure because you hate certain teams.
No.
Okay.
This is truly for fantasy purposes. This is 5 guys that you should definitely target very high in your rookie drafts. So the lowest one that I have going is with the 22nd pick to the Los Angeles Chargers. They need a reliable wide receiver to pair with Ladd McConkey.
Okay.
And Quentin Butterfingers Johnston isn't him.
Got it.
So I think with the 22nd pick, the perfect pick for the Chargers would go Matthew Golden. 5'11", 191 receiver, polished receiver out of Texas. And guess what? His measurables aren't that far off from a dude who did it last year for the Chargers, Ladd McConkey, who was 6 foot even, 185. So very comparable measurables, right? And furthermore, Ladd McConkey already showed you what a rookie can do in this offense. So to think that they wouldn't automatically get the same production out of Matthew Golden isn't far-fetched. McConkey put up 82 receptions for 1149 and 7 touchdowns. I think that is repeatable with Matthew Golden. And I think furthermore, the Chargers are onto something here. They bring Harbaugh into town. Herbert's his man. They're a defensive-minded team, and he loves to go out and get playmakers, and he always has those low-key, under-the-radar playmakers. Why not pair Matthew Golden as a rookie with second-year man Ladd McConkey and now have your future set as far as your offense getting the ball down the field?
So let me ask you a question. Do you know if they've had time with him, like throughout the combine? Are there whispers of that? Or
I do not know. I know that throughout all of the projections I've seen Matthew Golden going pretty much everywhere at the back end of the first.
Here's the reason I'm asking. I'm not even pushing back, but I'm reading his write-up right here, and says his weaknesses are routes can be too nonchalant, foot off the gas if you feel like he's covered, pops up right into routes, needs to play stronger, etc. Seem like things that are counterintuitive to a Harbaugh coach team. But I'm asking because if they are going to take him, that means that they trust in the talent and the coaching staff's ability to kind of coach that out of him.
Well, Jim Harbaugh is not going to stand for that, and I think these guys are going to come in and they're going to play. I also didn't realize that we were going to start debunking these. I thought
I'm not debunking it.
Desirable landing spots.
It's not debunking. It's giving it some depth. What I'm saying is his strengths. He looks like he has all the tools. Yeah. The only knock on him is that. So I think Harbaugh could bring that out of him. I'm just saying that. Yeah,
Harbaugh was his advanced analytics.
Just something else.
Some would say borderline cheating,
Well, it's better than everybody else's that does it, right?
it'll come up.
This sounds like a Buckeye that is very salty about
Buckeye
Big Blue transitioning.
national championship, and you
No,
better
I
say
like that.
when you say Buckeyes.
I like it. They definitely need a guy. He reminds me of similar to Tariq Hill, not as explosive, but that's a guy I projected that should go to the Chargers as well.
Trust me, if for whatever reason McMillan drops, then obviously McMillan's the choice for them, but McMillan's not going to be there.
He's not going to
22.
drop. All right, Rocky, what you got?
So come with me along the banks of the Erie Canal, leading to the majestic Lake Erie.
Wow.
And this is a perfect fit. Right now, this team has a backup quarterback who we know is just not a competent, capable backup QB because he played QB in Chicago, and that is an absolute death bell for any QB. And so
Aside from attending Ohio State. Oh, damn, he's got 2 strikes against him.
I have in the 4th round with their second pick, the Buffalo Bills taking Will Howard to replace Mitch Trubisky and clearing over $3 million off of their cap. Will Howard is everything that Mitch wanted to be but couldn't be. And, oh, by the way, measurables, he lines up as either a slightly, maybe not quite as good as Josh Allen himself, but very comparable to Nick Foles. So a capable backup quarterback, probably can have a career as a backup, but also could pop off and perhaps win you a Super Bowl.
What are we doing here?
Wait.
What are we doing? We're
what's
talking
going on?
about backup quarterbacks.
This is fantasy.
This is for fantasy relevance.
Listen, Will Howard
The way
You
you let in,
let him land the plane.
the
here.
way you let in, I thought you were talking about Justin Fields.
No, Will Howard, I believe, will be a starter. But at the worst, he's going to be a Nick Foles. And I think he can pop up and be fantasy relevant. We do know that Josh Allen is a runner by his nature.
All right, so let me just take the reins here, okay?
All right, come on.
So this is a good breakdown of a player you like going to a team.
This is
not a
dream
good
scenario.
fantasy dream scenario.
It's a good.
What's
it's
the
good
dream? We draft him, and in 4 years he's on another team started. We won't have him anymore.
enough. If you're a dynasty league, you're
Listen,
taking it. You're taking a risk.
I'm gonna lay off because I'm giving you your Buckeyes guy. I'm gonna
Well,
charge this up to
this
Buckeye
is,
Love.
This list is plenty Buckeyes.
Well, I would hope they're gonna play.
Buckeye full, we would say.
Well, let's hope that pick 4, you have a guy that's going to see the field in the next 2 to 3 years.
He will.
Not backing up Josh Allen, he's not.
Come on.
Hey, go Buckeyes.
Go Bucks.
Who you got, Mark?
All right, for my next pick that I'm excited about, the next lowest in the first round in a dream scenario.
Let's just say 4th.
I'm taking Tyler Warren,
Okay.
Penn State tight end. Where do I have him going? Cincinnati. They just paid their guys, right? Joe Burrow's under contract. They just paid Jamar Chase. They just paid T. Higgins. Mike Gesicki is not him at tight end. Why not bring in this dynamic playmaker right now in Tyler Warren and get him injected into this very lively offense? We were talking about this would be a perennial AFC champion contending team for years to come. I think this would be the final piece to that offensive puzzle. I think Chase Brown being in his second, this will be his 3rd year, I believe. I think Chase Brown can fill that need until they're able to really land a very dynamic running back. I like Tyler Warren. Is he going to put up Brock Bauer numbers in Cincinnati? No. I don't know that we'll ever see Brock Bauer numbers again for a very, very long time. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to put up Sammy Laporta numbers. I think 86 receptions for 890 yards and 10 touchdowns is not unfathomable in that offense. I mean, you have defenses that are keying in on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's going to leave a lot of room for the tight end to eat, and Gesicki just wasn't eating. So why not bring in Tyler Warren to be that guy to eat?
I like Tyler Warren as a prospect for sure. I think I think it is a Matt. They've been looking for a tight end for forever, basically, right? So I do like this.
Back to the Jermaine Gresham days.
He does project as a guy that could probably make an impact year one, and obviously going forward. So yeah, I like Tyler Warren in Cincinnati.
Didn't he have like a 6 or 7 touchdown game for Penn State this past year?
That I do not know, but I could look into it.
I think he threw one, ran one in, caught a few. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know, and I'd love to know who that would be against. I do remember him having several multi-touchdown games. So I think it's a good.
I'll look at it.
I think it's a good pull.
It was against Lehigh Valley State.
Go ahead, Rocky. Who you
All
got?
right, so my next lowest, I guess, is what we would say, and this is to me my absolute dream in many ways, and I think a fantasy home run here. And that would be at pick number 67. So in the third round, the Cleveland Browns picking up one Quinshon Judkins.
Quinshon Judkins.
NFL comp, a comparable. He's a slightly taller Isaiah Pacheco with the KC with a similar running styles, runs angry and catches well out of the backfield. In fact, in the national championship, multiple touchdown game, including one through the air. This is a guy that, to me, the Browns need nothing more than to sign him, re-sign Chubb, and use him as a 1-2 punch. I think Quinshon is 1,000-yard back as a runner and probably a 300 to 500-yard back as a fantasy receiver. There's nothing to dislike about this guy. He unfortunately split the backfield with Henderson, and if he ran as the true number one back in any other college program, would probably be talked about even more because the number of yards he would have gotten would have been astronomical.
Well, he did at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
do you
prior to
project him as like a home run hitting running back, or like more of move the chains, consistent?
He's faster than people think.
Yeah.
But looked
He
slow
is.
when he got ran down against Notre Dame.
Well, he ran a 4.48
Yeah,
at the
but
combine.
4.48 is respectable, and he has a running style that makes it very hard to take him down easily. And so I think he's one of those guys that's going to get a decent number of 20-yard games.
I like the pick with the fact that he doesn't have to sit on a bench for 4 years and marinate before he starts somewhere else. But what I think you fail, I think what you're not getting across is how bold of a prediction this is. 1,500 total yards in Cleveland.
You know, hey,
It's impossible.
want me to remind you about Peyton Hillis?
It's impossible.
That
He
did
was
happen.
white. He was white.
That did happen, and he was white.
The Madden curse.
I
Got
can't
him.
argue with that.
Come on, Chubb,
Got him.
multiple 1,300
So I
yards.
can't find the 6 touchdown game on Tyler Warren, but I do
Yeah, I
have
don't
a
know if it was
17 catch game in a comeback against USC
Yeah.
this season, early in the
Classic
season.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
17 catches is quite a feat.
And Penn State is known. I mean, they do produce solid tight ends.
Tight end you, right?
17
Or
catches.
maybe Notre Dame, Iowa.
17 catches in a game. That ties Kyle Pitts' entire NFL career to this point.
Wow, come on, low hanging fruit. All right, who you got?
All right, next I have at 12, I have Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys taking their area of biggest need. That's running back, Omario Hampton. I would love to see him end up in Dallas. Why? Because they just shipped off the guy 2 years ago. They let go of Tony Pollard. Last year they let what's his face? Who was doing the running there
If you
last
stop
year?
talking,
What was his name?
what's his name? I was all Rico Dowdle.
Rico
Yeah,
Dowdle
yeah.
to Carolina. There's currently nobody there to take over the reins at running back. They signed somebody. They signed Javonte Williams, but who gives a shit?
They have and Miles Sanders, so the 1-2 punch.
Who cares? I say you go out and you get Hampton. Why? 6 foot 220. You know who he reminds me of as a rookie? And they loved him in Dallas.
Ezekiel
Mr.
Elliott?
Ezekiel Elliott, 6 foot 225. So I don't think it's impossible for Mario Hampton to come into Dallas, immediately start toting the rock. Before you know it, Miles Sanders is on the waiver wire, and they're looking to shop Javonte Williams to somebody who's looking for running back depth. I think Hampton could be the guy of the future in Dallas. I think what they'll do is maybe they decide after his first 3 or 4 seasons to re-up and pay him. That way he doesn't get fat like Zeke and lose his love of football. They keep him interested. They keep Dallas relevant. And most importantly, hopefully he keeps Dak off of the shelf.
I mean, he's a stout guy. I can tell you that. He's
Yes.
built well.
Yes.
6 foot 220.
He can come in and immediately put double-digit tutties on the board, too. Immediately.
His athleticism score is not very high, but
Doesn't
I don't
need
think
to
it's the
be.
kind of runner that you're looking at here
Doesn't
anyway.
need to be. It needs to be that typical Dallas smash mouth guy.
Yeah, I don't hate that. He does remind me when I've seen him run of another Dallas running back from the past, Mr.
Emmett Smith.
Marion Barber.
Marion Barber.
That's what it
because
reminds me of.
Because of the dreadlocks.
Solid pick.
Dreadlocks, maybe. Maybe there's a little subconscious bias there, but just the way he runs, not so fast, but good vision, good cut. Good.
Yeah.
You got.
So I'm going to stay with another running back here. And Mark, I think you might like this. I have the Chicago Bears with the second round pick, their number 41 pick, taking
Deep breath.
I already know.
the running back from Ohio State, Trevion Henderson.
I love it.
Listen.
I don't like it.
5'9", 215, so he is a sturdy enough back.
Don't like
An
it.
amazing catcher out of the backfield, and he immediately pairs wonderfully with DeAndre Swift. Henderson reminds me of a slightly slower Jamar Gibbs.
He ran a 4.4.
Yeah, but Gibbs is faster.
Yeah.
But I think Henderson's a little bit more of a in between the tackles kind of runner too. He can get to tough yards. He can also, as we saw in the game against Texas, take even a minor screen pass and hit pay dirt. So I think the Bears, they're actually going to be pretty solid this year. I think they fixed some of their offensive line issues, and they'll probably draft a few more in this draft. They need a showpiece back. And while I like Swift, I don't think Swift is a showpiece. True bell cow. I think Henderson.
That's why they got to go and get Caleb Johnson.
It's a fair. I like Caleb Johnson too.
Yeah, I like me some Caleb.
Yeah.
So some of the
bring that evil
some
on
of the
me.
strengths of Travion here, I'll read them off. Reads both levels on stretch plays, presses, runs tight to blockers' hips, slides from gap to gap, twitchy lateral movements, accelerates into build-up speed, makes him tough to catch. He's rhythmic with his cuts, hasn't fumbled in 3 years, shakes off angle tackles if they're not head-on. Weaknesses, slightly undersized, plays fast, but primarily has one speed as a runner. Average vision inside, not much creativity in small spaces, and catches too much contact at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
So you think that's fair? I
think some of
You
those
watched
are
him a
fair.
lot, right?
Yeah, some of those are fair. But even saying he's slightly undersized, he was a running back
That's right.
that the Buckeyes never took out in their entire playoff run. He is a true 3-down back and had no trouble picking up blitzes and protecting the quarterback. So he may be undersized slightly, but he actually is a great blocking running back.
Yeah, he's right on the cusp there of being the size you want.
Right,
Hey, yo.
the ideal size.
Where are you getting this analysis from? The first half of that read like a Tinder profile. That was ridiculous.
I mean,
This is his
love with him.
shout out to NFL. This is his draft and combine
fantastic hips, great
prospect,
thrusts, long
prospect
strokes.
profile. Well, as you guys know, this is not our day job, so we can't be on the field at the combine to break these guys down. But we have people. Yeah, I'll speak for myself. So I leave it up to the guys writing up his bios, and I'll rock with that because I don't watch much college. But what do you got, Mark?
Fantastic. That sounded like that was definitely written by a fan of his Elvis pelvis. That was ridiculous.
Well, no, then you got his weaknesses too. So
I love the adjectives used though when it was talking about his hips and how wiggly they were.
Twitchy,
Twitchy.
lateral movements,
Oh, man.
rhythmic in and out of his
Rhythmic,
cuts.
there it is.
But that is
That's
the thing,
crazy.
man. There's
It
guys
is.
that are not rhythmic in and out of their cut.
This is true.
He really that's the perfect word for
He
it.
long strokes the hole for sure. There ain't no doubt about it. This
See,
guy,
these
this
are
guy
the
gonna
type
get
of things.
downfield.
These are the type of things, Mark, right here.
That
All
gets
right.
us demonetized.
With the 11th pick, San Fran single-handedly turns their franchise around.
Oh, this is big.
From these diva wide receivers that they've had
The
to
doldrums.
now looking to the future. Number 11, they go out and they get Mr. T. McMillan. I can't pronounce his first name. Tetaroa, maybe something like that. They go out and they get him. They let Brandon Ayuk walk. Let him walk, man. He held out, comes back, lackluster, gets injured, let him walk. You already got rid of Debo, who was proving himself to be a cancer. Now you have Ricky Pearsall, who is going to be fantastic in that offense. But if you don't believe that he can be a true wide receiver one because he is a little undersized, go out and get you some 6'4", 219-pound T. McMillan, who we've all seen the viral footage of how sticky this dude's hands are. This guy can catch anything and everything. I see him as a bigger Puka Nacua. I see him as a guy that can be looked to like Malik Neighbors. Only he's going to be having Brock, Mr. Irrelevant, very accurate passing, Brock Purdy getting him the rock down the field. So, let's look at some numbers here. We have Puka Nacua at 6'1", 203, so he's a bigger Puka. Puka had 105 for 1486 and 6 touchdowns his rookie year. And Malik Neighbors, who is a little bit slenderer at 6 foot even, 200 pounds, had 109 receptions for 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. I definitely put McMillan in this realm of wide receiver, somebody who can come in and immediately make an impact. He is this year's impact wide receiver, and whoever gets him in this draft is going to get themselves a fine wide receiver one for years to come.
Did you give a comparable?
A bigger Puka Nacua. So body size, he kind of...
It's more of a Drake London to me, too.
Devontae Adams. Devontae's a big, strong guy.
Yeah, but Devontae... So what I like about McMillan, he uses his body to get open and to catch passes.
I like the Devontae comparison.
But he's slightly under, like he's not as fast. So he doesn't use speed to get open, which I think is similar to Drake London, who also is around that same 6'3".
Not all these guys are burners, man. D-Hop was never the fastest guy on the field. The guy got separation.
But
he plays to his body.
Yeah.
He plays to his body. I think my only issue is Purdy. It seems like his strength is contested balls down the field, and does Purdy have the wherewithal to do that consistently?
I think so, man. I honestly, I think Purdy is very undervalued. I've watched Purdy throw some pretty amazing balls into very, very tight windows.
No, I think Purdy is a good quarterback. I think they've made it clear they're going to re-sign him by clearing this cap space. I agree with Phil. Something you said earlier that they're probably going to be trading Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
I
think they at the very least want to put themselves in position to part ways with him if they have to.
Yeah, which watch the Browns go for him. As I say this, knock on wood. Who trades for a wide receiver that just tore his ACL and has just been signed to a monster contract?
I think a smart team that has a culture in place would trade for him. So, I think if you're the Chiefs and you could get him on the cheap off the ACL, I think
but you can't get him on the Chiefs.
Not the money, but what you're trading for. I think that his value, they don't have a lot of leverage. So, like, if you're Andy Reid, you're going to think that you could bring him in and he could be useful.
Well, I think he's proven it with other.
Yeah. I think teams like that.
And if you have the luxury of not bringing him in need of a wide receiver one, if you can bring him into a situation where he's a wide receiver 2, possibly even wide receiver 3, the first team that jumps off the page to me to go out and get him is Dallas.
That's another good one. Yeah,
CeeDee
I like
Lamb
that.
there. Why not bring in Ayuk, another guy that can be dynamic?
They've needed a wide receiver 2 for a while too.
Absolutely, and you see that CD can't do it himself.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Lamb needs some help. All right.
What do you got? My next perfect scenario.
What slot is this?
So this is a trade backup.
Okay.
Into the first round. So the New England Patriots
the Pats
trade back into the first round. They pick up Minnesota Vikings, 25th pick, and here's why. Minnesota only has 4 picks this year. They have a 1, 3, a 5, and a 6, and they are in need of picks, and they like picks. So they trade their number 25 pick to the Patriots. The Patriots give them their 3rd round pick, their 2nd round pick, their 5th round pick, and the 7th round pick. And here's why. The Pats have 2 picks in both the 3rd, 5th, and 7th round. So they have a plethora of picks. They give all of that to Minnesota to move up to 25, and they pick up Mr. Emeka Egbuka, who I love. This guy, his pro comp is another Ohio State receiver, JSN. JSN was 6 foot, 195 pounds. Emeka is 6 foot, 203 pounds. Emeka ran a 4.46. JSN ran a 4.48. Both of them gained separation from elite route running. Both of them have proven, heck, Emeka is the number 1 all-time receiver in Ohio State history. And I don't know if you've noticed, they've had a couple pretty decent wide receivers come through their program. Emeka is day 1 ready. And what I love about him is New England doesn't really have, they have some good wide receivers, but they don't have a breakout, and I think Emeka is going to fit right in and actually be able to break out this year.
So do you think he's playing at the X, or is he playing from the slot?
So the good thing about Emeka is in college he's played at both positions and has been equally good. So he is a guy that if you need a great slot receiver, he's going to line up there, but also has enough speed and enough size to spread the field some.
See, and from your comparable earlier, I think is the reason why he's not going to be there
That's
for New
very
England
possible.
to even trade up to. I really think that Seattle pairs him with JSN.
So I had Seattle. In fact, I had Seattle taking him at 18 prior to the Cooper Kupp trade. And so that's the reason why I think they wait one more year, or there's enough wide receivers to where maybe they take him in the 2nd or 3rd. Seattle does have a lot of holes, and at 18, there's probably going to be a great edge they might want, maybe an offensive tackle. So that's kind of why I went with the Patriots.
And you had in a comparison for him, or no? Did I miss it?
JSN.
JSN.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty.
Perfect
That's pretty
size,
good.
perfect speed comparison. And again, these receivers, what I love about these type of receivers, and you guys probably have some of your favorite receivers of all time, fast enough, but don't need just speed to get open. They have elite route running. And you love those guys because even as they age, they still stay pretty competent. In fact, the guy I always use, Larry Fitzgerald, who, when he came in, had elite speed, but as he got older, still had the route running to be an amazing receiver. Well,
Knew how to play leverage, too.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And I think JSN, Emeka, and I would also agree, I think Matt Golden has some of the same things.
All right. What do you got, Mark?
So obviously, the person that you should be most excited about in your fantasy dynasty rookie drafts is Ashton Jeanty. Let's talk about perfect scenario for him. Might not be the team that you immediately want to see him go to because you just don't know what that team's going to look like. But what I will tell you is that when he goes to the Raiders at 6, he is immediately one half of their offense, aside from Brock Bowers. Ashton Jeanty is going to get the ball, and he's going to get the ball often. You're talking about as a rookie in that Raider backfield, he will be toting the rock 20 to 25 times a game. I definitely see him as a rookie cracking the top 10 best rookie rushing records of all time, with Dougie Fresh Martin coming in 10th at 14.54. I think that is very attainable. I think that Josh Jacobs' monster season in a Raider uniform a few years ago at 16.53 and 12 touchdowns, I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility for Ashton Jeanty. What I will say, the one reservation that I have about him, and if you look at this guy, this guy is an absolute workhorse. He's built like a horse, for crying out loud. He's got decent speed, and his wiggle is just crazy. His vision. He's got a Barry Sanders-like vision without the elusiveness, but a vision like Barry Sanders, and he runs the ball very, very hard. He actually, to me, looks like a little bit bigger Josh Jacobs. The one knock, again, that I do have on him is that he didn't play in the SEC, right? So he didn't face elite competition all the time. And when he did, he really had to get his carries in order to produce, right? So you saw him tear up, obviously, the smaller divisions, but still, the ability's there. It's there. He's going to get the rock, and he is now going to face elite competition. But I think his volume alone is going to lead to massive amounts of production.
Yeah. So a little Maurice Jones-Drew, maybe?
I think is Maurice Jones. I think he looks bigger than Maurice Jones-Drew to me.
I think Jones-Drew was
taller for sure.
He's taller. Jones-Drew was a little more filled out.
Yeah, a little stocky.
They're comparable for him here is LT, which is pretty high comparison.
That's a high comparison. Yeah. See, I would think more like a DeMarco Murray or someone that's big, elusive.
But he's not that big.
Yeah, he's not as big as DeMarco.
He's 5'8". He's 5'8", 210. So he's stout. So I thought Jones-Drew, but it makes sense because Tomlinson was pretty short too. I don't know if he was 5'8", but he was. I think he was under 6 foot, but he was solid.
Like a James Robinson, then. Kind of like a body type like James Robinson. James Robinson had a couple of solid seasons. Probably got a body kind of like Dougie Fresh Martin too, right? Dougie Fresh was a little bit smaller.
I'm gonna look it up.
Martin, man. Yeah. The only knock against him, which will be the same knock against the guy that I'm going to mention, is he didn't face elite SEC or Big Ten speed, and that's it is a question. But I think I think what you're saying is accurate.
5'10", 215 for Tomlinson.
Oh, wow.
So 2 inches taller.
I think he's a running back that can do it with speed and just natural ability, but he can also do it with the ability to pound it also.
His highlight reel it's ridiculous. It's
hard to find any fault in it.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of running backs.
Doug Martin almost exactly. School. Sorry, 5'9", 210.
Yeah.
That's perfect right there.
Yeah, there you go, Doug Martin.
All right, so my final player, and this is a no-brainer. Again, this is the second pick for the Cleveland Browns, and they are going to take Travis Hunter, who is, I think, I like Abdul Carter. I think that at least one or two quarterbacks will come out and be very competent. But when you talk about who could be a generational player, I don't know if there's another possibility. Maybe the guy you just mentioned. But I think Travis Hunter fixes two problems that the Browns have: a need for a really great day one wide receiver 2 who could catch 90 passes, and a nickel corner, or which I love.
I think nickel corner is perfect for him, especially with the comparable you're about to bring up.
Yeah, so you got on defense, I think his comparables, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, who great career, also 14 kids. Well done.
You sure?
Yeah.
Well, the Cromarties like to get around, huh?
Yeah, good job. And I think this is a great comp. I also think that the Browns, putting him at the slot corner or the nickel corner allows him to, it's a more instinctive position at corner. You're not going against always the number one. And
you can make plays, yeah.
And you can kind of throw him into spot duty to where I don't think that he's going to be able to hold up playing both sides of the ball every game all the time. I think what you're going to do is probably find 20 plays, maybe 25 plays on defense. Maybe that's high. Maybe 20 plays on defense, and he'll be the true number 2.
And you have him in on certain nickel packages and dime.
On offense, I see a comparison. Some people are saying that his comparison is to Justin Jefferson or Kelvin Johnson. I don't know if I'm ready to go there, but I do think that he is somebody who could be a Garrett Wilson-esque, has the same speed, has the same body type, a few pounds lighter, but I think he's going to put that weight on in the pros.
Anybody remember Roddy White? Not Roddy White. Yeah, Roddy White is the guy.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, he reminds me of him a little bit. I forgot about him.
Yeah, which is, I think if you're the Browns, you take that.
Roddy White was a stud.
And I think you gave a shout out to the wrong Cromartie. I think it's Antonio Cromartie.
Yeah, Antonio Cromartie is the one that has 14 kids.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, okay.
That's what I was saying. Like, him, you sure?
Yeah. Okay, well, Dominique, I don't know how many kids you had, but
not 14.
I'm hoping for a double digit.
He is a Florida guy as well.
Also, what I like about this and why I think it's a great landing spot for Hunter is their offense is in need of a spark, and I think Travis can give it. And I think Joe Flacco loves a deep pass. I think that's a perfect fit. I also like the fact that this immediately allows the Browns to trade Greg Newsome, probably recover a third-round pick. They're not going to sign him anyways, and it's a win-win.
I don't know why. In my mind, and I'm going to have to like really dig around and figure this out. In my mind, I have Travis Hunter's comparable to Tyreek Hill, and I think it's because the early year of Tyreek Hill, he wasn't filled out. He wasn't the most polished receiver. His game was getting open down the field because of his route running ability, and obviously his elite speed. I think the Travis Hunter, I think with his speed paired with his route running ability, I think he's going to be the same type of guy, and hopefully he can find himself building out, kind of like Tyreek Hill did, to become that very franchise-worthy wide receiver one.
How tall is Tyreek?
I got you right here. Hold on.
Probably, 5'11"?
Yeah, I think he's slightly shorter. You're right, but not that much. Very, very.
He's 5'10".
5'10". How tall is?
6 foot even. Some say 6'1". I don't think he has the elite speed of Tyreek Hill, but I do think he's probably a 4'3", 4'3", 5", which is plenty. I mean,
Tyreek Hill went in the 5th round.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Dominique Rodgers only has
Tyreek
2
Hill
kids.
was not a...
2 kids.
So I apologize to you and your beautiful wife, Tarika, for saying that you had 14 kids.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
And we also apologize to Antonio and his 14 wives.
Yeah.
14 kids.
I'm sure there was at least one duplicate.
All right, well, guys, you got me fired up.
Yeah.
I'm fired up for Thursday.
Can't wait.
Draft night is always awesome, like the first 30 minutes, and then
Bunch of
they
guys
really
sitting back, eating meatballs.
drag it out.
They
you know?
really do.
They really make it a chore to watch, but we're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some things, some libations.
There'll be some
to
yawns
kinda-
toward the end because
Oh,
we all
yeah.
get up early.
Yes, we do.
Well, all of us get up early. So,
Yes.
Yeah, there'll be some yawns.
And I got to get up early that next day, too,
Yeah.
but we'll be there.
Yeah, it'll be a
It's
little
one
bitching,
night.
a little
It's one night
moaning.
out of the
One
year.
night.
We hope you guys join us. Any final thoughts? Tell the people one at a time why they should come join us on the live for Thursday. Look in the camera, boss.
Dude, who better to commentate your Thursday night draft than a couple of guys that know where these guys should go and are going to be most fantasy relevant for you? We put in the time, we put in the work, man. We know what's up with fantasy football.
We
Come
know
watch
what's
us.
up. We know what's up.
Yeah,
watch us.
I can't say anything else. I think we are obviously amusing, incredibly good looking. I think we deserve. These
I think
people
you
to come.
gotta. I mean, I don't think I can use that, Rocky. I mean, you gotta look at the people and tell them, Rocky.
All right,
I'm gonna clip it,
I'm
man.
gonna do it again so you
Yes.
can clip. Hey, listen, I tell you why you should watch us. We're good looking. We're knowledgeable. We're normally right. I think you should. I think we'll be drafting. Now, I'm gonna say this: we'll either draft who they draft, or we'll draft who they should have drafted if they were as smart.
That's
as
true.
we were.
I
So,
think that it's going to be fun. You should definitely tune in because we are pretty good at calling some of this stuff. And then you can make fun of us if we're wrong right in the chat. We'll go back and forth with you guys. You're going to be watching anyway. You know, listen to somebody that you want to hear. Sure, you're going to turn on the ESPN sound here and there, so you hear them talking, but you want to hear us talking because we're the guys on the ins and outs every day, grinding it out on fantasy. Forget the fantasy focus, all those guys on TV. You want to roll with us, I'm going to cut a bunch of that out. We love you. Follow all the socials, Guys on Sports, at GON Podcast on TikTok. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we put up some new content. We'll see you next week for the draft. Peace.